5 days worth of no-cook, Menobelly meal prep, 100 grams of plant-based protein without protein powder, and hits the rest of your nutrients. Now let's get cooking! Or no cooking. So in order to eat whole food plant-based while you're in the menopause transition, you have to include a few key things within your meals. Gone are the days where you could just eat low calorie density and expect the weight to come off. You have to tick certain boxes. I'm gonna cover the big 3 that are most important for fat loss, and then I'll list the other 8. So the first nutrient of focus starts with a P, and yes, you guessed it, it is protein. I know this is a broken record, but women in post-menopause need more protein. You should start out with around 70 grams per day target. The meal prep I'm about to cover is 100 grams. And the reason why is because we need to preserve our lean muscle mass, we need to build new lean muscle mass, and having more protein helps with blasting that spare tire and satiety. Women in menopause also become more insulin resistant, meaning that the way that your body processes carbs is a little bit different. So that's the first one. The second one starts with the letter F. Who can guess it? It is not, it is fiber. Fiber, fiber, fiber. So this meal prep is going to cover about 55 grams of fiber. Bottom recommendation for women in menopause transition is 30. You eating whole food plant-based, I'm not worried about you hitting this, but fiber is going to protect you from chronic diseases, slows the release of sugar, and it keeps you full. And then number 3 is calories. As much as I would like to sit here and tell you that you can eat as much as you want, that is just not true, even if it's plant-based. We cannot defy the laws of physics, so it's very important that you figure out what your calorie requirements are. If you need help with that, all you need to do is just comment, send me an email, message me, and I can help you with that. So I'd suggest focusing on calories, fiber, and protein first to get the bulk of your weight off. Then you can focus on these nutrients right here. But the meal prep we're about to cover ticks all of these boxes as well, so it should set you up for a really solid week. So for breakfast, we are gonna prep some oatmeal packs. These are awesome for grab and go when you need to rush out the door. And very important, ladies, breakfast is so key. We can't skip breakfast. That keeps our body in that state of fight or flight, jacks up our cortisol, and makes it impossible to lose weight. So please, please, please have your breakfast with at least 20 to 30 grams of protein. Here are the nutrition facts for these breakfasts. So all you're gonna need are sandwich bags. These are also great if you're going on vacation and you're not sure what the breakfast situation is gonna be. So we're gonna do half a cup of sprouted oats. These are gonna have a higher protein content than regular oats. Then we are gonna do 2 tablespoons of flax seeds. Flax seeds are amazing for boosting that estrogen production, and they also just support hormones overall. So do not skip out on your flax seed. Then for an extra hit of protein, we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of peanut butter powder. You can also do an almond or cashew, but this is gonna give it a little bit more thicker texture, and it's gonna have 8 grams of protein and no fat. So it'll look like this. You can bring them to your office, store them in your pantry, and then in the morning, what you wanna do is just mix it with your favorite plant milk. Soy milk is gonna have 9 grams of protein, but I also like the plant strong milk. It's super creamy and it has calcium. And then you also can have frozen berries on hand, whether it's at the office or if you're doing it at home, and throw frozen berries on top for even more fiber. So I would say the biggest issue I see with women is that they're not eating breakfast, they're under eating, and then they're either binging at night or they're just chronically underfeeding their bodies. And what happens is your body stays in that fight or flight mode. It doesn't feel safe to lose the fat. And then it's just this cycle of feeling hungry, feeling like you fell off. So it's a lot easier when you just have a structure of consistent meals that work for you, that are yummy. And the beauty of having targets to hit is that you really can eat whatever you want. And again, you're not gonna wanna go out and eat junk food because you're gonna realize you don't feel good when you eat it. But with these targets, you can plan in a birthday dinner. You can plan in date night, pizza night, whatever it is, and then tick all the boxes somewhere else in your day. Rather than traditional ways of losing weight, even plant-based ways of weight loss is super strict sometimes, where you feel like you have to follow something perfect all of the time. And then when you're going out to eat, you end up blowing it, and then your whole week snowballs. You know what I mean. But when you have just checklists and you're thinking, okay, I need to add these foods in, I need to add in my flaxseed, I need to add in my soy milk, then it becomes a lot less stressful because you're not in that restrictive mindset. So whenever you hear me talk about blueprint, that is what I've developed over the last decade of how to eat whole food plant-based, and then use that to tick all your boxes. So I'm teaching my clients how to eat whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds to hit their protein rather than protein powders. So these are our 5 little baggies, no protein required. But if you do want to use a protein powder, if you need a little bit more, if you are training really heavily, if you're an athlete, I will show you some of the brands that I like. Sun Warrior. So when you're looking for a protein powder, make sure that is third-party tested. Then you are going to want to make sure it has 2 key things. One is the blend of protein. You want to look for a protein powder that has a brown rice and a pea protein base. That's because that combination is comparable to the quality of whey protein. Whey protein is good quality because it can be used really readily by your body to make new muscle tissue, right? So pea and brown rice is the equivalent to whey. And then you want to look at the macronutrients. This has 2 grams of fat, 90 calories. A lot of protein powders out there, especially if you have Orgain, you might be eating more calories than you realize because it has a lot of carbs in it. So you want to make sure it has the most amount of protein for the least amount of calories. So Sun Warrior is great, also Complement, and also Truvani for ingredients. But again, Truvani might have a little bit higher on that calorie spectrum. So just look at it and see if you can make it work. So here is our lunch. Since I work from home, I like a fresh salad. So I am not going to show you how to batch prep the salads. I do have other videos on that if you want to watch. But if you were batch prepping, you can just massage all of your kale. Kale will stay throughout the whole week in lemon, and then you can add the dressing the night before. So very important though with our kale, when we have a dark leafy green that's going to have non-heme iron, it's really important to have a source of vitamin C like red bell pepper with it or lemon. That is going to increase and boost the absorption of our iron. So make sure to always pair vitamin C with a dark leafy green. Then we're going to do this tofu. I'm going to do 2 servings of this tofu. You might just need 1, but it's 16 grams of protein and no fat. Then for our sauce, we're going to add this queso. It is so yummy and such good ingredients. And then we're going to add our pumpkin seeds. Like I said, pumpkin seeds have so much magnesium. They're really, really healthy. And then we're going to add in our nutritional yeast, which is that cheesy seasoning. And then we have this protein-packed, yummy lunch. So I just make this really quick for myself each and every day. And then what you're going to want to do is just use a kitchen scissor and just chop it up. I just take a kitchen scissor to this and chop it up. So super easy, doesn't have to be complicated. And then what you can do is also add in a sweet potato. So I have these guys batch prepped as well. You can throw them in the oven at 350 for 2 hours to make it super caramelized. and then you can have it with your lunch, or you can make poop pudding, which is cocoa powder, sweet potato, and a little bit of date syrup. So for dinner, we are gonna prep our plant strong soup. So we are first going to prep quinoa as our grain. Now, I bought frozen quinoa because I am that lazy, but I would recommend using a rice cooker if you prefer that way. So we're gonna microwave this. It's gonna take 4 minutes. For someone that likes variety, this brand has, I think, 9 different soups. So you could literally do a different soup every day, but we're gonna do 2 of these soups for 5 days. So another hack that I do with frozen veggies is I just leave them in the containers frozen. So by the time you're gonna eat your meal prep this week, they will be ready just to be heated and not be frozen anymore. And then we're gonna do a cup of quinoa in each. This bag has 5 cups, so it's perfect. And then we do need a fat source because this has no fat in it. So I love these little guacamole cups. Avocado is a great source of fat to support our female hormones. So these are 5 yummy dinners. Threw it together really, really quickly. Again, you don't have to prep all of these out. Since I work from home, I just know what I'm gonna eat and just make it real fast. But if you're someone that has a lot of meetings or you're grab and go, definitely prep these out so you don't rely on junk food. Sometimes I get in and I'm just so hangry, even just heating it up in the microwave is too much for me. If you enjoyed this video and want to dive in more to what I call my nutrition blueprint, then you will love my free menopause support group. It's over on School. Just hit the link in the description to go and join. But don't forget to take a look at all these products and download the shopping list and the recipe guide. That's also in the description. And hit subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be doing more videos like this if you'd like it. So leave some comments and tell me what you want to see. And until next time, you guys, I will see you later. Thank you for watching.